track. I'd like to start with acknowledging the Honorable Ralph E. Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He's on his way here. Honorable Cecil Mackey, Minister of Tourism, Sports and Culture. Honorable Frederick Stevenson, Minister of National Mobilization, Social Development, Family, Gender Affairs, Persons with Disabilities, and Youth Affairs, Member of Parliament for this area, South Windward. Other members of Cabinet, other members of Parliament, Ms. Annette Mark, the Executive Director of Invest SVG, and Ms. Nadine Agar-Julera, the Deputy Executive Director of Invest SVG, Mr. Peter Brewer, Sales Director, Sports Division, Sports Flooring International for Regupol, Mr. Patrick Heinen, Project Engineer for Regupol, Mr. Nelson Hillix, Director of Sports, representatives from the various sporting organizations, disciplines in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, including football, Olympics, athletics, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Shauna Brown. I am the Investment Facilitation Manager of Invest SVG, and I'll be your host for this morning's momentous occasion. My sincerest apologies to Minister Gonsalves, Camilo Gonsalves, Minister of Finance, Economic Planning, Sustainable Development, and Information Technology, and also my minister as well. My sincere apologies. Now, as we start, to move the welcome remarks, I'm going to pass on to Honorable Frederick Stevenson, Area Representative and Minister of National Mobilization, Social Development, Family, Gender Affairs, Persons with Disabilities, and Youth. Minister.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shauna Brown, Investment Facilitator and Manager at Invest SVG, our host for this morning. The Honorable Cecil Mackey, the Minister of Tourism, Sports and Culture. The Honorable Camilo Gonsalves, the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, etc. Mr. Peter Brewer, Sales Director for Regupol BSW, and the other colleagues, members and staff of Invest SVG, and I just see arriving here the Minister of Education, the Honorable Sinclair Jimmy Prince, members of the community here at Diamond, the children of the Stubbs Primary School and the Stubbs Preschool, other senior civil servants within the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, members of the media, our security forces here, ladies and gentlemen, a very pleasant good morning. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be here this morning as the parliamentary representative for the constituency of South Windward, where this beautiful facility is being placed. I am very elated this morning. Yes. And I want us all to put our hands together for the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for bringing to fruition this very important national project. This morning, after many years of throw and fro, the young people and the athletes of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will be pretty soon having a most important facility where they can enhance their training and their sporting capabilities. Today, more than ever, St. Vincent and the Grenadines continue to propel and to show to the world that we are coming of age. Just to the top of where we are standing here, pretty soon, you would see the Holiday Inn Airport Hotel.
Yes. Yes.
Just across the street there, on the top of the facility here, the athletics track, would be in the region 2020, 2021, 2022, a $3 million multi-purpose facility for the community of Diamond. This community of Diamond is one of the fastest and most developing communities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we deserve all of the goodies that we are getting.
All right.
The Honorable Minister of Sports would speak more about the athletics track. But from the start of the earthworks, I have been following daily and in the afternoons and evening the progress of the work. Today we are here for the official groundbreaking ceremony. The works are in progress, and I was told that hopefully by the end of April, the end of May, the transformation here on this ground, on this athletics track, would be something that we didn't anticipate. I recognize and I see the Honorable Prime Minister is arriving. This morning, again, I want to say how very delighted I am to welcome you to the grounds here in Diamond for this athletics synthetic track, which would also host a football field. Sports and the development of our young people go together, hand in hand. And if we want to continue to enhance what we've been doing, this facility would help to make it even greater. The Sports Anti-Crime Campaign, which we have launched last year, is also very important for the continued development of the young people here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is a national facility. So I want to say to the young people here in Diamond and over at Brighton, the constituency of East St. George, which is just next door, that this facility is for all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And do not think that this facility here is only for Brighton and for Diamond. Today is indeed a very good day. This morning when I woke up and I saw the rains, I said, oh no, we're going to have... But I know our God is good. And he has blessed us this morning with a little drizzle just to keep the dust down. Welcome, Honorable Prime Minister. Once again, let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the groundbreaking ceremony here today for the Diamond Athletics Track. A first, and hopefully would not be the last, for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you all very much for being here, and enjoy the rest of the proceedings. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Minister. Dare I say, with all the goodies that he pointed out that is coming to Diamond, it's no wonder that this area is called Diamond. I would now pass for remarks from the Honorable Cecil Mackey, Minister of Tourism, Sports and Culture. I see that he brought his sneakers with him, so I guess we're off to a good running start. Minister Mackey.
You notice I've put on my running boots and that I'm not smiling because this is very serious business here this morning. Thank you for the introduction, Madam Chair. Honorable Prime Minister, Minister Stevenson, Minister Gonzalez, Minister Prince, members drawn from across the public service, President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Football Federation, Carl Dixon. I saw Executive Member Michael Oliver from the Team Athletics SVG present with us. Members from Invest SVG, representing the contractors, DIPCON, they're here. Of course, Regupol, representative is here, and you'll hear from him a little later. Persons from the community, recognize the preschool and the primary school students from Stubbs. Happy to have you here with us this morning. This facility, in a large part, is for you. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, well-wishers of this project. This morning, I'm wearing two hats. One that would allow me to be giver of a testimonial, and also the hat of the Minister of Tourism, Sports and Culture, with emphasis on sports this morning. I started running, kicking, bowling when I was at the age of 1.5. I have great sporting pedigree in my blood. Several of my uncles achieved excellence in sport. And I am the last of 4 brothers. And my 3 brothers also had sporting pedigree in them. In fact, the records of the St. Vincent and the Grammar School will show that I was Class 4 champion, Class 3 champion, Class 2 champion, Class 2 champion, 4 years consecutively. I didn't make it 5 in a row, but I made it 4 in a row. The records would also show that during that time, I had several records established in school. And in one of those years, I was the valedictorian. The records would also show that very early in my 2nd year in school, when at that time, your 4x100 meter team included your 4 fastest runners in your house, I was on that team. In fact, it was the 4 Mackey boys. And we were recognized as being a very fair quartet in terms of the relay events. I see the former headmaster of the grammar school in our midst, Mr. Curtis King, and he's smiling and nodding because I told him to do the research and see if I'm not the only athlete in the history of grammar school who ever got Class 2 champion twice, because in those days that was not possible. I also see Mr. Julian Jetsburg in here, and he's also nodding because he knows that that is the truth. Later, I went on to be an executive member of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Athletics Association as it was then. I represented my school, my community, and my country in track and field. I know about track and field. I also represented my community, school, and practiced for the under-19 national team in football. And I served as the first vice president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Football Federation. I also know about football. I will stay with those 2 disciplines because I could go on to tell you that I represented at the premier level for my club in cricket and did well, bowling out all of the top batsmen in the country. So not only do I know about sport, I also know about administration. And that is why I know that this morning is a big morning, not only for the people of this area, for the individual sporting disciplines, but a big moment for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This project is a national project, and as you can see, represented by the colors of the national flag, and I chose wisely to put on my national hat this morning. So despite the fact that it is being implemented by the only government that could have done it, the Unity Labour Party, this is a national project. When I was invited to be a part of the discussion in the development of this project, we were reminded that around the mid-2000s, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, having had in its manifestos from the inception the construction of a national stadium, established the National Stadium Committee, headed by Mr. Garth Saunders. Very experienced athlete himself, did well representing St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the field events up to the level of Carifta Games and also Commonwealth Games. In 27-28, we all know that there was a global economic meltdown. And the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines explained to the nation that we had to put the stadium project on hold, despite the fact that we had done phase 1, which was the leveling of this area and putting in the drainage. And from that time to current, we explained to the nation, yes, project is on hold, but we still have it very much in mind, and we will deliver it to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This morning, so said, so done. During that period, however, the government explained that in our preparation to host warm-up games for the World Cup 27-28, that we will set about upgrading the standard of 4 facilities throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines: Annesville 1, Annesville 2, Sign Hill Playing Field, and Stubbs. We have added other facilities since then, and because of that, we have been able to host regional and international fixtures, most of them cricket, football, track and field at Annesville, but we are also able to host regional cricket fixtures involving 7-8 teams across the length and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because we have facilities that can do so. In football and track and field, our athletes have had to train on grass fields throughout the country. But even having said that, at Annesville 1, each year we see new records being set in track and field. This means that the athletes of the country and the footballers are also doing well. They are paying attention to training. I go back to the fact that at 1.5 years, I did all of that preparation on the executives of both track and field and football. But for the past 57 years, I have been dreaming and yearning for a running track for St. Vincent and the Grenadines and a top quality football field. I tried my best on the executive of both associations, and when we established the stadium committee, we got close. In fact, we had designs, we had costings, and we knew that we were going to do it at this site. In fact, those designs were able to guide us in terms of what we are doing here now. And 58 years later, guess what? I am the Minister of Sport, part of the process, and we are establishing phase 2, another phase of the National Stadium project, which would focus on putting in the fencing, putting in a running track that would allow us to host international events up to the Olympic Games, because we won't be able to host the Olympic, But this facility will be a top-class modern facility, both track and field and also football. And we have been working very closely with the association. In fact, over the last month, we have met a couple of times with the Football Federation, asking them to identify with this process, and we are also asking the Athletics Association to identify with this process. This morning, we are well on our way. And you would hear from the representative of Regupol the details of what the running track and the football field will entail. I want to say to Mr. Bergin and all of the former athletes of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, get ready for when we commission this facility, hopefully by the middle of this year. My putting on my track shoes this morning is an indication that I will be preparing myself, because I could not just dream and wish for this facility to become a reality and not take the first run and the first kick when this facility is opened. So all of those old cricketers, track and field and footballers, get yourself prepared so that you can also be part of the opening of this facility in the next 6 or so months. Janita Lewis, she has called on such a facility and for us to revive Masters Track and Field in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now we have an excellent opportunity. In my budget presentation, I'll give some more details in terms of what we have done for the sportsmen and women of this country and teams, especially in track and field and in football, and also where we are going in terms of developing sport in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This morning, this is not a big fat lie. This is not wishful thinking or a political gimmick. You will see hard plans that we have to construct this facility. You would see flesh and blood people, contractors that will prepare for the laying of the track. You will see flesh and blood people that will be employed not only from this area, across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And you are seeing for yourself that work has already commenced on this facility. What a moment for the Ministry of Tourism, Sports and Culture. What a moment for Representative Stevenson. What a moment for the Minister of Finance. What a moment for the Honorable Prime Minister. What a moment for the Unity Labour Party. What a moment for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Congratulations to all who have participated in this process. I am proud to be a Vincentian this morning to deliver this project. Thank you very much.
The class to boots.
Thank you so very much, Minister. As I said before, he's off to a running good start. And with what he said about being the first to run when things are open, I think that you've invited everybody here to see how that is going to go down. Minister also said that, you know, he started way back and has done all of these wonderful things. It's just a testimony to the fact that our athletes are doing great things even now. But with the help of Regupol, I see that we're going to propel our athletes even further on the regional and international scene. And with that said, I'd like to turn to Regupol BSW representative, Mr. Peter Brewer, to move some remarks. Thank you.
Oops.
Thank you very much. What a speech, Minister. Wow. Thank you very much.
What an athlete.
I'm not going to be able to beat that one. That's impossible. Well, protocol having already been established, so good morning, everyone, on this beautiful day out here. I can't tell you how happy I am to participate in the groundbreaking ceremony of this excellent facility here in your paradise country. Mind you, I'm coming from the winter, from frost, from snow, from cold rain, from no sunshine. So this is paradise, really. Thank you all for putting your trust in Regapol BSW. I shall promise you here and now that we shall deliver and we shall exceed your expectations. From the day Camillo and we met the first time till now, only 6 months have passed. We came to terms really quickly, signed a contract, and our engineers custom designed a 400-meter athletic running track that meets your wishes and needs. The civil engineering is being carried out by the local construction firm Dipcon, who is working based on our specifications and drawings that have been set up by our engineer, Mr. Patrick Heinen, who is here as well. Patrick shall be consulting with Dipcon during the construction phase and until completion. Here we are on January 24th now, and having heavy equipment cutting and filling soil to level the grounds for a full-size 400-meter athletic running track. A so-called Regapol Champion AG track that shall carry an official IAAF certification when completed. Since 1968, so for over 50 years, our company Regapol, based in Germany, has been committed to provide world-class Regapol tracks and sports grounds to the athletic community of the world. Countless athletes on all continents are doing their daily training and compete on our Regapol surfaces. One of the very highlights in my 43-year-old career with BSW was certainly the getting to know Usain Bolt of Jamaica. In 2009, as you probably all know, or definitely know, he ran his undefeated world records on our Regapol track at the Olympic Stadium track in Berlin. Immediately after that historic event, we formed an advertising partnership and I signed the contract with Usain. In spring 2010, we designed and built the Usain Bolt track at UWI Mona campus in Kingston. Already before, we had built a number of tracks in the Caribbean, but this then was the kickoff for many more athletic Regapol facilities in the region. So, believe me, we know how athletic, crazy you Caribbean people are. And I mean it in a very positive way. It's not a coincidence that most of the fastest runners in the world are from here. Your athletes have extraordinary abilities. Their anatomy allows for performances that are not granted to many others. But to develop into a world-class athlete, it takes more. A super strong will, sheer endless endurance, the readiness to suffer, and believe me, I've seen Usain Bolt throwing up next to the track because he couldn't do it anymore, but he kept going on. And these are just some attributes that world-class athletes need, but what they also need is a first-class training facility. And that is exactly what we shall be constructing here at this very location. The IAAF certified Regapol Champion AG track shall be a state-of-the-art, full-size, 8-lane running track with 2 full-size D areas. All IAAF relevant field events shall be available. From the steeplechase and the javelin to the shot put, the hammer and discus, the pole vault, and the long, triple, and high jump. All of these facilities shall be available. And all of them in an official dimension and IAAF certified. And of course, in the center of that IAAF certified track shall be a FIFA-sized football field. Your track actually shall be similar to the one that we built for Usain Bolt in Jamaica. And Usain is still saying today that the Regapol track has helped him and his teammates to get to and to maintain world-class performances. Coach Glenn Mills has been enthusiastic about the Regapol track for 10 years now. Times are fast, never had an injury, he says. So he loves it. So therefore, athletes of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, bear with us, we are not far away from completing this track. We shall soon be finished. We are preparing the grounds for you to go to the top of the world. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh. Thank you, Mr. Brewer, for that. He said that we're going to have the same type of track that Usain Bolt has. So I definitely see us leveling the playing field and definitely giving our athletes a chance to shine from 2020 going forward. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you just to take a look around and look behind us. There's nothing there right now, right? That's because it takes vision to see past what the naked eye can see, to see what could be. And one with such vision is Dr. the Honorable Ralph E. Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who will now welcome to move some remarks.
Madam Chairperson, Cabinet colleagues, Peter Brewer, public servants, invited guests, members of the media, the children, the school children, and teachers, and ladies and gentlemen. I want to give a background in relation to this particular project, because in this election year, there'll be a competition on the electoral track, Peter. And we have been champions 4 Olympics in a row. Metaphoric Olympics, that is to say, general elections. And we have a 5th successive metaphoric Olympics sometime over the next several months. We don't have fixed terms here, so that the Prime Minister advises the Governor General. And the Prime Minister, this one, I follow the sage advice and wisdom of the ancient prophet Eli in advising young Samuel. And I amend Eli's instruction, and at the appropriate time I will pose the question. Speak, Lord, your servant Ralph is listening, as to when the date should be. So in this season, at least as we get to the season, you hear the talk that we are only doing this because it's an election year. You hear that from the opposition. And that we promised a stadium, and that promise has not been delivered. I know Confucius didn't say it, but he ought to have said it. Man and woman who never do anything should not tell those who do about not doing. We began the quest for a national stadium early in our first administration. I had visited Libya, and we got a sum of $1.5 million US towards the beginning stages to do the preparatory work for us to raise over $50 million, as it would have cost at that time, to do a stadium facility, a modest stadium. We identified this site. But at this site, you had a number of people who had an informal settlement. Some people call them squatters. The persons who were involved in an informal human settlement. There were buildings, concrete buildings, various stages of completion. One or two poor families had actually lived here. The first thing which we had to do, having identified the area, is to go hire someone. We set up administratively a stadium committee. And this lady, Mrs. Williams Quo, she and her team went to every single household and told them what we were doing. She took photographs of every single house. And we said, beyond this particular date, any structure which comes here would be moved without any compensation. And out of that money, we compensated everybody who had come here and constituting a loose, informal human settlement in this area and the immediate periphery. We had to level the place. We put in drainage. We did first a conceptual design and then a more detailed design. All that was done. And as Sesmaki has pointed out, we had an urgent matter to address. The Caribbean community decided that we will host, and in agreement with the West Indies Cricket Board, that we will host World Cup 2007. We invested in 4 facilities, $54 million. We did over completely Annis Vale 1. What is there now? Some people have amnesia. Was a limited facility. And at Annis Vale 1, when a shower rain came, The place used to be waterlogged. We invested greatly in the drainage. That is why when rains come, and we have 100 inches of rain per year on an average, it drains very quickly because of the excellent drainage system which is there. What you had were limited facilities, seating facilities, and we put in, you remember we put in the big facilities on both sides, well, on more than one side of the field. The media center, the players pavilion, refurbished other existing facilities which were there and developed them. We did Annisville too. We did Sion Hill, which needed a lot of work. And we transformed Stubbs from a village facility to one where you can play national and regional games. In fact, the mantra at the time by the opposition, because they have sought to put politics into this, and I'm answering them. The mantra at the time by them was twofold. I listened to a meeting which they had at Sion Hill. This was in early 2007. They say, what you're doing down at Annisville will never be ready for the World Cup preparatory games because Australia was using here as the base. I'm giving those who have amnesia the history because I've been involved in it, because I'm in this job for 19 years. And I've been intimately involved in this matter. So I am giving, as the evangelist would say, testimony.
All right.
They said that it was a waste. A, it wouldn't finish, and B, it was a waste of money. That what you needed to do is not to build up these facilities, but to do a lot more facilities across the country. And that excited a demand. Even though the opposition didn't have majority political support, they nevertheless excited a demand from people all over the country to improve the village facilities. So after we spent between 2005 and 2007, maybe 2004 when we started, and 2007, $54 million. I advised the cabinet and they accepted the advice. Let's pause on the National Stadium facility and money which we raise. Let us do a lot of rural facilities. And we did that. And that after a year and a half or so, the intention was, we will come back to this. But you know, man can plan. Man and woman can plan. But God and nature don't always let you carry the plan in the same straightforward manner. All right. Because to climb Sophia Mountain Though the shortest distance between 2 points geometrically is a straight line, you can't climb Soufriere in a straight line. You have to take zigs and you have to take zags. But your objective is to reach the top of Soufriere Mountain. In September 2008, Lehman Brothers, a financial institution in New York, fell apart. And that financial meltdown metamorphosed very swiftly into the worst global economic crisis that the world had seen for 100 years. People forget that, you know. Now, at that time, we had started the construction of the Argyle International Airport, the largest capital project in the history of this country. Necessary and desirable for a competitive, many-sided diversification of the economy, to build it in a sustainable way in a post-colonial, liberalized trading world. And simultaneously, while airport on mainland St. Vincent was being done, we were completing a jet airport in Canawan. And we were in the full throes of the education revolution, which cost hundreds of millions of dollars. So it was felt, let us have the pause a little longer on the stadium. In 2010, on October the 31st, Tropical Storm Thomas hit. In April 2011, in the north of the country, the northeast of the country, natural disaster struck again on a large scale. And then in December 2013, nationally, another major disaster. In fact, between 2010 and 2018, damage and loss to this country amounted to in excess of $700 million, more than 1/3 of the annualized gross domestic product of the country. I had to build a whole set of bridges. In fact, in February 2007, we opened the Raboka Bridge. And since then, we have built more bridges in this country than any government in the history of the country since British colonialism had set foot here in 1763. We were so committed about the stadium and to keep it going. We passed a National Stadium Act in the Parliament and set up a National Stadium Committee headed by Garth Saunders. In the meantime, the Football Association brought people from FIFA, said they wanted to help. They wanted here. But you know the condition what they wanted here for? Their focus was the football field. We can work with them and put the track. But hear this, that they will have exclusive control over it. So I told them, the state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not an NGO. I say, thank you for your offer, but we will do it. We gave them Brighton. And they have not fulfilled what they said they were going to do at Brighton. But I understand they did it a little bit. And I know the immediate past president of the Football Federation wanted to do something further there. And I understand the current one, they have resources to, from last time, from the last executive, and maybe even additional monies. So I'm hoping to see that being fixed up properly. In the meantime, we have spent millions of dollars on playing fields from North Windward in the east to North Leeward in the west, the northwest, all the way down to the Southern Grenadines. There are some notable ones. There's the Chile playing field. There is a South Rivers playing field. The one at South Rivers costs approximately $3 million. So much we had to build that field. We had to divert a small river, build it on a riverbed, build 3-4 houses for persons whom we removed. And when we finished it, we asked Vinlec, which has a power plant up there, to put in the lights, which costs about $300,000. We move a mountain to put one in Park Hill. We did Mongrenan. We had fixed up Victoria Park. When we came to office, I know these fellas when they talk, nothing was played at Victoria Park because they gave a contract to some people. I wouldn't call the name now because everything they write is against Ralph and the ULP government. But they had a contract and they leave a mountain in the middle of the field. It did it for about 2 years, 3 years. Please, I remember. The facilities were run down. The washrooms, you couldn't use them. I'm reminding what it was, you know, because some of the young ones wouldn't know, and some of the older ones, in the vicissitudes of life and with difficulties on a day-to-day basis, which you may have, as we all have, you might tend to forget, and I have to remind you. It's in the nature of life. that you need reminder because you may forget. All the way down to Cumberland. Regional games are now played on an ongoing basis in Park Hill and Cumberland.
Yes.
In addition, of course, to Annesville 1 and 2 and Zion Hill. You know, I'll access to document all the sporting facilities which we have done. And then we had the National Lottery intervened with a $6 million development program which added all sorts of facilities, including in South Windward.
Yes.
And I spoke to the chairman late last year. I spoke to the chairman and the general manager of the National Lottery about another $5 million project, $5 million investment in facilities across the country during the course of this year. And they said yes, they'd set about doing it. Incidentally, the National Lottery, which has done a lot of work, and Camilo answered a question in Parliament. When we came to office, National Lottery set up to help sports and culture and education and some health. Less than 10 million in gross revenue. The last financial year, $69 million. We put it on a good footing, a proper law we put in place, and over that period of time, they buy their own headquarters and pay off for it already, have other property owned, because they wanted to do a facility down in Kingston, close to, on the other side of the Anglican school, across the road. But because of problems with a couple of schools due to the disasters, the natural disasters, we had to use the old glove factory as temporary accommodation for one of the schools. I telling the story, you know. And then Camilo and Cess came and said, Ralph, let us build out the stadium in phases. And Camilo said he had a discussion with Peter from his entity, which has a track record of building good tracks. And we agreed to put aside, he haven't gotten the estimates, to put aside $4 million. And what are we getting here? I'm looking for my glasses. Where I put it? Ah, I have it in my pocket. I don't usually put it down there. I have a habit, I put it here. That's why you mustn't change your habit. And in cricketing terms, you give the man at the crease the benefit of the doubt. And I'm at the crease. You don't change your habit. What are we doing in this phase? As you heard, a full-size 400 meters synthetic running track and track and field facilities. 2, a football field. 3, bleachers with initial capacity between 800 and 1500. 4. A spectator mound, additional 700 spectators or thereabouts. Lovely mound. You know, let me just pause here at number 4, the mound. You look at Sydney Cricket Ground. The people in Australia, they're always trying to keep the English and other visitors away from the mound. Because that is the place, that is the iconic location at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The mound, that's where they go and take their picnic baskets while the test match is going on. So there'll be a mound here. A very creative idea. 5, washrooms and dressing rooms. 6, parking lot, ancillary roads, and some more drainage. 7, the track shall have 8 lanes around. 8 lanes on the home straight of 130 meters for the 100 meters and the 110 meter hurdles. 8, construction of an adjacent field for warm-ups. 9, the football field with irrigation installed. And 10, the facility will have the necessary docks installed to facilitate later installation of light. Those are the 10 things, Blazer, which we're going to be doing. And you can't say that that's not good value for the money.
We'll be right about that this weekend.
The facility shall have the following facilities for field events. A 1 steeplechase facility with water ditch and hurdle sockets. B, 2 shot put rings. C, 1 combined discus hammering. D, 2 runways for the javelin. E, 1 pole vault runway. F, 1 double and 2 directional long jump and triple jump runway. The track will be built to International Association of Athletics IAF competition category class 2. Construction category class 4 certification. As of June last year, the International Association of Athletics Federations is rebranding and now named, I believe, World Athletics. I should explain, there are 9 recognized competition categories. Remember, there are 2 categories I'm talking about here, 2 classes. Competition categories and construction categories. In terms of the competition categories, there are 9 competition categories. According to the 2019 edition of World Athletics Track and Field Facilities Manual, Category 1 is for World Championships and Olympic Games. Category 2, which is ours, is sufficient for all athletics meets short of the Olympic Games or World Championships. But the times which would be run on the Category 2 here would be times which would be respected by the international athletics community. In terms of the category, the construction category 4, you measure that by the state of the ancillary facilities. Now, as we put more ancillary facilities, the category 4 status of construction would rise. What are these additional ancillary facilities which would carry that category up? As we add outside warm-up tracks in later phases, our construction category will rise depending on whether we lay down a 400, a 200, or a 60-meter synthetic warm-up track in addition to this track. But remember that I say that though you don't have a warm-up track, we are having warm-up facilities nevertheless outside of this current phase. Now, the entity known as Regopol BSW, they have said to you, they have told you about their record. But we shouldn't allow them alone to blow their trumpet or at least toot their horn. I should tell you that they specialize in the supply and erection of athletic tracks globally. As you heard, and I repeat this, they built the iconic blue track at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin, and they told you that's where Usain Bolt broke the 100-meter record. And at the 209 World Championships with its famous 9.58 meter run, 900 meters. Regopol has also built or resurfaced multiple tracks in the Caribbean, including in Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, and Tobago, and Guyana. According to our contract with them, they will supervise our local contractor and they will install the track. As he said to you, Dipcon has been hired to do the basic construction type work prior to the laying of the track. So in relation to this, we brought them to this island, to this country. We did the site visits and we concluded the negotiations. They assessed the quality and equipment of local contractors to construct precision athletic track, and they're satisfied that Dipcon is up to the task. We conducted topographical surveys, volume calculation of cut and fill, and a geotechnical survey by way of 4 boreholes. We consulted with Regopol about the optimal location of the track and facilities, and we naturally had to do things like clear and grub the land and begin excavations of the track and football field site and conduct scientific tests of soil, gravel, and fill to be used as a sub-base and base for the track. And always, as with the ULP government, we conducted community consultations. Camilo and the Humble African JSS was also here. The track and equipment will arrive sometime soon in 9 containers. And the later phases of this project would involve upgrading the seating, that is to say, to remove the existing bleachers for greater seating capacity, installation of synthetic warm-up track, as I've indicated, installation of the lights, and expansion of parking. In short, I'm asking the people with this, man and woman who starting, you must leave man and woman to finish.
Yes. Yes.
I've been advised that DIPCON will complete the asphalt and sub-base work in April. And before the rainy season comes on, Regopol intends, I'm advised, to finish the laying by the end of May. Is that correct?
We're going to try, yes.
We're going to try. We're going to try. Now around here in Diamond, we're going to have this track. As you know, we're going to have a $10 million Holiday Inn Express, 92 rooms, just up here. That is going to be starting sometime in the next 10 weeks or so. Our restaurant. We have a National Properties Offices as a state-owned property company. We have a Center of Excellence involving information technology. We have a hospitality school. Those two buildings you see is the Center of Excellence and the hospitality school. There's a supermarket. And the Humble African is getting built not too far from here. A good quality community center. It's in the budget. Now, I hope everybody will hear the story as I've explained it, the history, all the circumstances and where we are. It is now to get the work done. DIPCON is working there. You know, we have to make sure that they save some time, because some fill material, understand they have to have as many as about 80, 700, how much loads of fill? 750 loads of fill. A lot of traffic between where they get in the fill from out at Argyle, come down here, and maybe the better thing for them to do is not to wait until they actually need the fill, but start to bring the fill and stockpile it, and then you move it from the location to where you need it. So to Peter, to move it swifter, it may cost a little bit more because you have to put it somewhere and then move it again. But it's nearby, and given the overall cost, and given the issue of time, it may be better in terms of time cost management to do it that way, because delays also cost money. As you will see, up to the highest levels of the government, we are keeping an eye on this. The parliamentary representative, Frederick Augusta Stevenson, the Minister of Sports, Ses Maki, and Camilo, and I have to report to Cabinet and tell them what is happening, so I have to be informed about everything, and I keep an eye on it. Just one final footnote. As I was listening to Ses, I couldn't help just reflecting.
I'll tell him so already.
I couldn't help reflecting that if in his current condition that he seeks to run on the track, and his current condition remains, he would in all probability defy the laws of physics if he were able to continue without falling forward.
Since he and Curtis don't run together.
I believe that he and Curtis may well walk the track together to test it. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so very much, Prime Minister. The PM said sometimes we can't go straight to get to our destination. So sometimes we have to go left in order to go right. Now, we all have heard the saying that good things come to those who wait. Well, we did wait. And right now in 2020, the time is right. The relationship with Regupol is right. This site here is right. And with all that said, the Diamond Athletic Track will be right. This facility will not only serve its purpose of propelling our athletes forward, but it will also allow us to promote more sports tourism here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the very near future.